spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. His skin is of a bright, blood-red color. Could he be... Yes. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his, two smouldering embers that sizzle your very soul.
Yes, I imagine you do. You're made of sterner stuff than I first gave you credit for. Chances are I wouldn't have survived the shipwreck had you not returned to the aid of your fellow passengers down in that dreadful hold. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
My gratitude is worth a great deal if only you'd realize it. But of course you don't, so we'll leave it at that. Now then, if there's nothing further... If you really must know, I haven't quite decided yet. I've a frightful amount of things on my mind, hence my standing here contemplating the waves.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? Memories. Quite so.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments pass as the waves lap against your thoughts.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see an empire. I see continents dotted with mighty cities, and shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost. Of course, it's rather specific. Quite obviously, I'm musing over the very actual empire that I lost.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am? The very same. I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the World-Tamer, the Spouse of the Sun. Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause, during which his grandiloquent pose deflates ever so slightly.
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunities at the moment. The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have. Truly. A kind offer indeed. And you've already proven to be trustworthy enough. You came back for the others on that ship, after all. Fine, I accept. On one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer, one of our kind's revered mystics. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. Jolly good. So, now that that's settled, first things first. Even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes without saying. As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you? Very well. Onwards, then, to victory or death.
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately between courtesy and contempt.
Now, as you're aware, you'll be traveling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particularly frivolous, Milord. As your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings. Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go. So, without further ado, let us be off. Yes. Is it an ordeal? There was a small incident which prompted my many rivals to move against me. Technically, they had the letter of the law on their side. Such a nuisance, the law. Quite necessary to keep the common in line, of course, but one such as myself it should exempt as a matter of course. Notice that, did you? For future reference, if I don't answer a question, it's because I don't want to. I hardly know you as yet. Let's leave some mystery in the relationship, shall we? We can exchange criminal records later. As am I. A prince should die of old age or on the battlefield. Anything else could be construed as weakness of character. That said, I've the distinct feeling I wasn't meant to die today, for despite your heroics, I was still cast into the water. I sank. I drowned. But there was something in the water. A voice made of air that soothed my flooding lungs. There was sudden light, warmth, life. Truly, how intriguing. To hear a voice whilst drowning is a rather specific delusion to share, is it not? Still, I wonder if...
He hesitates.
Are you a religious person? I'm rather relieved to hear it. Religious persons tend to be all too self-important in their supposed humility. As for myself, I perform the ancient rites of prayer and ceremony with a kind of languid indulgence. After all, when one is revered by many as a living god oneself, public deprecation would be needlessly self-important as well, wouldn't you say? There isn't much to say, but for the fact that I simply must. It's the portent of it all. I can feel it. The revelation will be world-changing. I just know it. And justified it is too. You will be a witness to wonders, I assure you. As certain as the sun, such is my conviction. I will be, then grow beyond being. I intend to rule an empire one day, not a tiny outcropping in the sea, lording over gulls and guppy fish. To that end, I suggest we focus on the obvious. A farewell to Fort Joy and a hello to the mainland. Of course, I'd much appreciate it if we managed to find a dreamer first.
A black cat. Some would see this as an omen.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with acute intensity. Its eyes clear, and it shakes its head, confused.
I've spotted something. Let's hope this is worth the digging.
I wonder where this leads.
As the alcove opens up, you see the same skeleton that you met on the boat before it sank. He's still not wearing his mask. He's leaning over a corpse, prodding and pulling at the skin of its face.
Bugger. How on earth am I supposed to... Oh. Perhaps...
Skeletal fingers reach down and grip the skin of the dead man's face, pulling sharply upwards. After a few more tugs at the man's cheeks, the skeleton relents, letting the head drop to the ground with a damp thud.
Damnation. That stuck fast. I wonder, does the beard act as some form of anchor? Ah! No! Stay back! Don't... Oh, it's you. I must admit I'm surprised. Perhaps you're more buoyant than I suspected. Why, its face, of course. What other use would I have for some rotting corpse? A face that seems rather stubbornly attached to his skull.
I would normally employ a tool to delicately but viciously rip the face from the body.
I could then craft a mask to hide my bone. But as I lack such a tool...
The skeleton grabs the corpse by the cheeks and pulls hard, grunting in frustration as the body's skin holds firm.
Carved? Please. You hardly think I am one of your breed, do you? You have never seen anything like it because you have never met anyone like me. Simply put, I am an Eternal, and you are not. You have my sympathies. Indeed, no one seems to have the good taste to be. My people are rather absent.
At least from this realm. As for the others, well, there is an excavation site at the Black Pit's oil fields. Perhaps there I'll find my answers.
Well, that hardly seems relevant. But if you must know, I was inconvenienced for a time. Several centuries, in fact. Or perhaps millennia. One tends to lose track. I was sealed in a tomb for daring to be curious about the world. It seems our king did not agree that the universe should be explored to its full potential. Perhaps I should thank him. It seems I was spared whatever happened to the others. I wonder if flowers would be appropriate. Ah, well, that is the curious thing. They are clearly absent from this world, and yet they are everywhere. Every one of your races resembles them in some manner, and the statues you have built to your gods look remarkably familiar. Perhaps my people have ascended to some new realm, or perhaps your gods are merely a folk memory. Regardless, they are not here, but I will find them. Wherever they are, I will find them. I suppose, circumstances being what they are, it could be advantageous. You seem more at ease in this world than I. A guide would certainly be useful. Excellent.
While we are conversing, perhaps you notice that I am rather skilled in, well, all things.
Of course, the arcane arts are my little speciality, but being a brilliant wizard does not mean I cannot handle blade or bow. So, which do you require for this enterprise of yours? I could do that with one hand behind my spine. Now, shall we get on? There is rather a lot to see.
Splendid. Very well. Let's be off.
Rubbish. speak.
I am a proud loyal to the Order. I would not treat...
Stay back, sorcerer, and stay silent. Our Godwoken speaks.
We know you've been helping sorcerers escape, Atusa. We have proof.
I'd sooner cut my tongue out than lie to you, Alexander. I know nothing of any escapees.
If you can tell the Godwoken no more, your tongue is of no use. Cut it out.
This can't be serious, Alexander. Come.
You should know by now to obey your superior, Magister, whatever she may ask.
Atusa pinches the tip of her tongue with 2 fingers and brings her dagger to its root. Her eyes squeeze shut. Drops of blood form against the dagger's edge and quickly fall to the ground. She groans.
Stop! My father, may his soul rest in peace, would be disappointed in you, Atusa. To think you would lie to his only son, your bishop, and your friend these many years. The fate of our realm hangs in the balance. If you will not help us save it, then you will help the Void destroy it. Dallas?
Yes, Your Holiness?
I believe we're done here.
What a waste. Come, we'll be needed elsewhere. old man. I can't wait all day.
I don't think I ain't watching. That's your fifth blue just to this road.
You there, lizard? I'm looking for an inmate. A smallish man, thick spectacles, prone to somewhat eccentric chatter. He wears a large bronze pendant with a dragon stamped into it. Have you seen him? None of your business, inmate. Find me if you hear of a me-go. Otherwise, don't waste my time.
Send us your children, your supplicants, and your divine.
I don't think I ain't watching. That's your fifth blue just to this road. What is it, weirdo? Your kind's gathering in a cave to the east. Head there if you want to keep your face in one piece. Whatever. And say hello to Ruler for me when you get there, eh?
Huh? What you doing here? Didn't Griff already take one of them ears of yours? That's so? Oh, hey, you're right. Reckon the lizard I'm thinking of was got rid of last week. Probably for the best. Griff cut her real good.
The woman is scrabbling at her throat, as though she can hardly breathe.
Don't touch me. You're too close. This collar, this place, it's squeezing the life from me. Do you? You seem fine. Don't you feel how tight this collar is? And there's nothing we can do.
Her hands move again to her throat. She seems to try to make space between her neck and the collar, but there's no space to be made.
I don't know any ancient empire ditties. Got nothing spicy enough to keep my mind off this place for a few bars. Don't break your head vain now. Been that long since you've been home, has it? Yeah, pity. Pity.
When another divine arises, we'll sort.
Easy now, Honcha.
snake face. What you heard about a crate of stolen supplies. And don't you lie to me now. Huh. What do I need your help for, Freshie? By the looks of you, you couldn't find a bush in a brothel. If you're done wasting my time, I've got a crate to find.
What did you say? That's what happened, isn't it? Cowrie, cockle, clown. Easy now, old chap. It isn't my fault she's dead.
Gods. The smell, though. Please, excuse us.
You're talking to me, not her, Sam.
Oh, for the love of Lucian, Balladeer. You're acting like a madman.
Say it again. What you said about my wife. Go on. Piss off. Go on, Sam.
Well, it's the truth, and you know it. She's better off. So what if it was messy? I'd rather puke myself to death 1,000 times than let the Reds get to me. If she were my wife, I'd be happy for her.
A flat smile twitches across Balladeer's lips.
She never did like you. Another thing about you and I, Gretty.
The man looks for a moment at the corpse at his feet, then turns back toward the nearly finished coffin, bloodied hammer in hand.
Don't feel too bad. Fella had no decency. If you don't have that, you don't have anything to live for. Maybe they're onto something then. Maybe we do belong here.
He nods at you and turns back to his handiwork. He lines up another nail and hammers it into the panel.
But why?
50 bottles of tears, oh.
When another divine arises, will source change back?
The kin's brow knits together, then apart and back again. He seems to be swimming deep in his thoughts and doesn't look up as you approach.
The ground. I don't know what you... I'm just trying to work it out. What happened? Why? My mind? What else, kin? I'm wondering why. All of this. Source. The Voidwoken. The Divine. Why? Naturally. How could one not? We've used Source for thousands of years. We have used it to heal, to grow. How can it be that it suddenly summons these horrors from the void? And when will Alexander ascend to divinity? We cannot continue like this. I fear it will be quite some time before we find any answers at all, my friend. Though it doesn't hurt to ponder. Goods. Ah, yes. Yes, of course. Have a look.
Oh, 10 bottles of mead. 1,000 bottles of dust. 50 bottles of tears. Oh, make the hinges rust.
Easy, eh? What do you want, freak? I got my good eye on you, bub. Make it quick. Sure. Pal of mine made it as far as the Hollow Marshes, even. They dragged his corpse back the next day. Head pulled clean off by a ghost. I saw it myself. Hell if I know. Don't rightly know if it can be done. If they take the sauce out of you, what are you? Easy, eh?
So this is Fort Joy.
A delivery. Surely you'll have one.
What a crumbling disaster.
Scram, snake face. Maybe you don't speak ancient. What I mean is, I'm very tired. Unless you have a bit of... Never mind. Excuse me.
Worse than war rations, these.
Psst. Hey! You're a little light in your pack, ain't you, girl? Who could blame you with the garbage they got for sale round here? Why don't you take a gander at the goodies I got? Stuff you won't find anywhere else in camp. Procured by special means.
Perhaps if those bleeding dwarves didn't eat so much.
Boss don't mind where the gold comes from, long as he gets his cut. Have a look, why don't you? Your cash is plenty good here. Psst. Hey, why don't you take a gander at the goodies I got? Stuff you won't find anywhere else in camp. Procured by special means.
Worse than war rations, these.
Ain't fit for beasts.
Worse than war rations, these. Ain't fit for beasts. Perhaps if those bleeding dwarves didn't eat so much. Ain't fit for beasts. Worse than war rations, these.
If a magister finds this on you, you forget my name, here.
Everything now? Good.
Griff is slowly, methodically peeling the skin from a potato. As you approach, he looks up, setting the potato, but not the sharp little knife, down on the table.
I've got that
What?
special shipment he was asking after. Everything there?
Who's asking?
He smirks and holds the little knife up to the light, watching it glint.
I'm listening.
He points the tip of his blade at the grisly sight of the elf hunched over, clutching his knees in the cage.
I solve my own problems. Can't help you there. If I could, I wouldn't be here peeling goddamn potatoes. Oh, they'll cure you of your sauce. Nightshade will cure you of an headache too. Perhaps if those bleeding dwarves didn't eat so much.
Hey, snake face. What you heard about a crate of stuff if I weren't on orders from Griff?
Leave him be. Don't make me say it again.
Listen, I can help you if you just...
Shut up, elf. This clown? Caught him stealing from my kitchen. Still won't say where he stashed my supplies. Sound like someone you'd let off with a slap on the wrist.
Supplies. Crate of food, citrus in particular. He'll talk, or he'll die quiet. Alls I want is my supplies. Happy to let this clown die in a gutter instead of my kitchen. Bring back my crate, and you got yourself a deal.
You looking for a match? You'll have a good head on most of the competition, that's for certain. A good tail, too. Poor lugs won't know what hit 'em. That's so. Well then, prove it. Down the hatch with ya.
Still on your feet, eh? Glad to hear it. Feel free to take a gander at the stock, if you're sowing only the finest, you know.
Why don't you join us in a round of cards? First hands on the house. Chuff to you, Chief. Here are your cards. You're up first.
You glance at your hand. 2 purple monarchs. A hard hand to beat.
Quite the hand, Freshie. Unfortunately, 2 is less than 5, and that's how many purples I've got. I reckon that makes me the winner. I'll be having your fee then. I'm sure the Reds told ya. No one gets along without paying the interment fee. So, let's make this easy. Empty your pockets. To be sure, Chief. Pay up and you get to keep your eyes. Sounds pretty satisfying, don't it? Go on then. Whatever pennies you've got in your pocket ain't worth my breath. But don't you go telling Griff I was soft on you.
God! He hasn't changed a bit. Always late. He hasn't changed a bit. Always late.
Vara. She ain't come.
A little respect for Griff's right hand, Topsy girl.
Please, I'm sorry, but you must leave. My baby's terrified of lizards. She may be hiding from you even now. Irma! Irma, darling, are you here? Please, sweetheart. Where are you? No, I'm sorry, but she's terribly frightened of lizards. She's just a child. Doesn't know better just yet. Please, good day. Irma, where are you, dear? Mummy's worried sick about you. Irma, Mummy's right here.
Fella can't hear himself think with all this racket. Day and night she hollers after that child. You hear that, Farah? You got to cut that out. What's happened to ya? Aye, she needs help, but none that I can give. Mad as a cooker, that one, and twice as loud. What else do you call hollering after a ghost? That child of hers she's shouting after has been dead and buried a month over. Killed by a void woken back in our home village. Never even stepped foot in Fort Joy. And there ain't no amount of hollering that'll bring her back.
Did you see them, miss? Bishop Alexander and the Hammer herself. They were so close, almost within arm's reach. A kin, is it? A traitor cannot be murdered. A traitor can only receive their due. Doubly so for a lizard traitor. It's a pity she couldn't die twice. The Divine Order's all that stands between everything you see and a void woken's throat. Any traitor to them is a traitor to us all. Believe it or don't. The Divine Order doesn't need our loyalty. They'll save us in spite of ourselves. Even you, skin shedder.
Where is he?
She's gone, Father. Gone.
Come on then, Lexi. Lay up.
I find any bread, I want no trouble.
Did you see him? You did, right? Those claws. Wonder what's behind the masks, too. Can't be pretty. The Geists, dummy. The Hammer and Alexander had two in tow just a moment ago. Ugh. Thought you lot would be interested in a thing like that. Won't find nothing better than a Geist, not in your life. But I don't picture you with Geist companions, oh no. I picture you rather of the Geistly type yourself. Now why don't you move along and settle in? A Magister will come and find you when they're ready for you. Could be a while, though. We're up to our hoods in sinners these days.
Oh, I've got my eye on you, Scaly. Don't try any of that sauce business on my watch, or I'll do to you what the Hammer did to that traitor. And I don't appreciate your kind conjuring up these horrors from gods know how deep. But we've got to live with each other, ain't we? For now.
Just hand over the gold.
I will not. You! Help me teach this beast. He must respect. If not, he comes for you next.
Respect? Huh. Someone's got to keep this place running. Griff can't do it for free. Why'd you gotta make this so hard?
An intense-looking man steps between the thug and the elf and rolls up his sleeves, revealing well-muscled and heavily scarred arms. You recognize him. It's Ifan, who you met aboard the ship on the way here.
Just stand aside, won't you, mate? This is no business of yours.
Lone wolves decide their own business.
The thug freezes in fear for a moment before shuffling back to the protection of his crony.
Pay up, elf. No one shorts Griff, especially not one of you. You two ought to be thanking your lucky gods it's us, and not the Magisters enforcing round here. A fool never knows what they've got till it's well and gone. Now come on, Elf. If you make me say it again, there's gonna be trouble.
And neither will I.
We got a system, and it looks like you don't want to fit in.
I don't feel so good. Is that indigestion, or is it... not now? Stay down, you!
Stefan rolls his sleeves back down and casually wipes some blood from his cheek. He nods at you, the shadow of a smile on his lips.
Good work there. Good work. I can tell you've got chops. Say, you were on the ship here with me, weren't you?
He stretches out one rough hand to shake yours. He grips your hand tight as a vice and shakes it, hard.
Say, you don't look all that busy now that we're safely on dry land. I could use someone to watch my back, and it looks like you could use someone to watch your errand to run. And then I'll be looking to get the hell out of here, while I've still got a neck to collar. How about we stick together until we get out of this place?
He shrugs, looking off to the side.
Mercenaries. It's a job. My job. Everyone needs to make a living. I make mine running errands.
The little black cat trailing you hisses at him, hair raising a ridge along its back. Without batting an eyelid, the man rumbles a lupine growl. The cat hides behind your leg, mewling. He shoots you a flinty look, all teeth and peril.
Lone wolves only share such information with friends. Are we going to be friends?
He grins, sharp teeth glittering in the midday sun.
So, before we hit the road, it's best if we decide battle strategies up front. Should keep more of our blood in. Survival's my main priority. I'll use every trick in the book to keep us alive. But if a wayfarer's not what you're after, I've got other skills. What do you need? Can do. Onwards.
He scans the horizon for threats with one green eye, then nods back at you.
Right you are. Lead the way.
Bolted on there tight, ain't it?
There is a safe place.
The old dog looks up at you but doesn't lift his greying head from his paws. He heaves a heavy sigh.
It's no use anyway. You're nice. Emmy would have loved you. She was my mate for the last 7, carry the 2, plus 50. 5 years! The Magisters, they took her. Nope, haven't smelled her either. She was real bright, you know. Had the best sniffer you've ever seen. I guess that's why they wanted her, not me. Say, let me show you something.
Good find.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with acute intensity.
What? How did I get... Hey, stop following me. Me? I know who I am. At least I think I do. Sometimes it feels like... No, I know who I am. Who are you? A head? No, not here. You won't be able to... won't be...
The cat shakes its head, as if trying to wake up from a deep sleep.
Huh? Yeah, fine. I'm fine. I'm not sure. It's all a little foggy.
The cat opens his mouth as if to speak, but his eyes lose focus, and with a jerk he turns away from you.
Oh, hey! Hey! I thought you might be Emmy. Oh, it's nice to see you. Key? What key? Oh, the key! The Magister who took Emmy dropped it when he was walking away. Did someone say Emmy? Oh, Emmy. If you find out where it leads, if you see Emmy, tell her I miss her. Not too far from here, but she was taken by a guy in a white robe who smelled horrible. Like lots and lots and lots and lots and... lots and lots of dogs, and also a little like dead people. He dragged her to the big castle just there. I'm so worried about her. I think I love you.
Rest now, or you'll hie yourself to the grave. Frightfully busy at the moment, love. Haven't got any liquor on hand, have you? This fella could use a little comfort. Why, look at that. what I ordered. Ain't you a peach, love? And old Dean here'd thank you too if he could. Poor fella over there crossed one of Griff's card sharks and got a club to the skull. Doomed to be sure, but I'd like to ease his way out.